For 40 years, Australia has permitted traditional Indonesian fishermen from the island of Rote to fish in Australian territorial waters around Ashmore Reef to the north of the continent. It's a special agreement recognising their long history working those waters. But now economic pressure has led some of them to people smuggling, where the rewards are far greater than the returns from fishing. Kate Evans reports.
The villagers of Propeller call themselves sea people. On the eastern tip of the island of Rote, one of the poorest islands in Indonesia's poorest province, the arid land offers few opportunities. So for hundreds of years, fishermen have sailed from Rote to the rich fishing grounds of the Timor Sea. Captain Toby Nasruddin Ginang has been doing it for 40 seasons. He and his crew spend up to 2 months at sea, sleeping on deck, battling rough weather, and fishing for one of the ocean's most lucrative prizes, sharkfin.
We can get 5 to 6 sharks every day or two, and sometimes we don't get any, but if you go for a long time, for 2 months, you can get a lot of sharks.
But in 2012, the sharkfin price began to fall dramatically. Fishermen who once earned several $100s after a month at sea now bring home $40 or $50.
And since then, people smuggling has really become a solution for many of the fishers.
Vanessa Jaite is a marine biologist researching shark fishing across Indonesia. She also spent 3 months in Propeller interviewing fishers and found that many are using their seafaring skills for something more financially rewarding.
I'd say that probably 80% of my respondents have said that they've thought about taking asylum seekers to Australia. A people smuggler will get about $2,500 per trip. If he's the skipper, a crew member will get about $1,000 to $1,500.
Earlier this year, fisherman Rahman Jalilan attempted to smuggle refugees to Australia.
The purpose was to earn a lot of money to be able to repay our debts to the shark fin boss.
But the motor broke down just off West Java. He was questioned by Indonesian police and sent home with a warning. He was paid nothing. But Australian policies too have contributed to the fishers' economic problems.
It's often perceived that these fishers have completely fished out their own waters and now they're coming to Australian waters to catch sharks there, but that's not the case. They've always fished here.
These waters around Ashmore and Scott Reefs were claimed by Australia in the 1970s, when its sovereignty was extended to 200 nautical miles off the coast. But under an Australian Memorandum of Understanding with Indonesia, Rotterdamese fishermen were given permission to continue to fish in the area now known as the MOU box.
We're allowed to fish in this area, but we can't fish over there. It's forbidden. If we do that, we will be arrested.
There's a catch though. The fishermen have to use traditional methods. That means fishing with long lines from wooden sailing boats and no motors. But the Propeller fishers say that at sea, this rule can be the difference between life and death.
Last year, 2 boats were lost. There were 4 people on board, including 2 of my sons. They all died. We never saw those boats again. If they had had a motor, maybe they wouldn't have died. They could have reached land before the storm came.
A statement from the Australian Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry says these rules are designed to prevent overfishing and limit access to only those with a historical connection to these waters.
The rule, allowing only non-motorised vessels, was a practical, enforceable and agreed definition for the traditional activities. Winding back this rule would result in every fishing vessel in Indonesia potentially gaining access to the MOU box.
If fishers are caught breaking the rules, they can be fined, and as they can rarely pay, they are imprisoned in Australia, paying back the fine through jail time.
Saya kena tangkap 9 kali. Pertama tangkap tahun 99.
I've been caught 9 times. The first time was in 1999. The last time I was in jail for 1 year and 2 months.
Australian officials can also destroy the boats of those caught fishing illegally. During a crackdown in the mid-2000s, hundreds of Indonesian boats were burned every year. But in Papela, that policy has had an unintended legacy.
My debt is reducing because I keep sailing whatever the risks, and despite being caught, I keep sailing to pay the debt and to feed my wife and children.
Most Papela fishermen don't own their boats or fishing equipment. They are borrowed on credit from a local boss. So when the boats were burned, fishermen like Rahman ended up with huge debts, driving them to take bigger risks shark fishing or turn to people smuggling. There have been several recent Australian initiatives aiming to provide alternative livelihoods for the fishermen, but these have had limited success.
Kita mau kerja apa? Rumpulan tidak jadi.
What else can we do? We tried growing seaweed, but it didn't work. If Australia wants to help the fishermen to earn money, we wouldn't go fishing down there anymore.
Basically, a solution has to be economically equal or better than shark fishing. And in these remote areas where the access to markets is very difficult, tourism is not really an option. In recent years, sort of ecotourism has really been the go-to solution for a lot of these problems. But where that's not possible, it's very difficult to find something.
In the meantime, Papela's fishermen feel like they're left with little choice.
Bringing immigrants is illegal. I didn't want to do it, but the economy is so low, so I was forced to try it, whatever the risks.